You find that many men, when their wives get children, men disappear, they run, because a demand is put. And a demand is put on something that the man was never wired for.
But how does this impact upon the marriage? Understanding and open, candid conversations in the marriage, how that change will impact upon, the couple is also important. Mike and Gabby, you've been married a while. Have you seen any of those growth curves that have really brought you to a new level where you're like, okay, things are not the way they were before, so let's take this growth curve together? And how are you able practically to get through that?
Realizing that, okay, now this is our first family, and certain decisions have to be made to ensure that that boundary is being protected.
How can a guy just plug in to be more supportive? And then how does that balance come in?
Get involved in the things that surround the baby. In that way, you're talking to her more, you're in her space more.
Children take 2 years.
Yeah.
Children eat 2 years of a marriage. They eat 2 years. They eat in hour they go. On average, 2 years.
And this is what you're talking about is where we are going.
It just hit me that I feel like I have initiated a lot of those baby-led conversations.
Absolutely. Pregnancy is one thing that is very funny, because men have a different idea to pregnancy. We look at it from outside.
Yeah.
We don't know. So all these conversations you're initiating because we don't know what to initiate. What do I initiate now? What do I initiate? I cannot explain what morning sickness is. I have no explanation in English, in grammar. I don't know what to do. Mine is to flow. Hello, Mr. Salamba.
Hello, Mr. Salamba. How are you?
Very fine.
Good to see you today.
Absolutely.
And we're on set
Yes.
with Mike and Gabby.
Yes. They decided to join us.
They decided to join us.
Just stormed into the recording.
So they must record on this day.
Yes. Carried the chairs and put them here. Said, okay, that is growth.
Maybe they put a gun on our head.
And then somehow we have matching seats. We didn't storm in.
So welcome on set, guys.
Thank you.
It's always a good time and never a dull moment on this set. So we're happy to have you here. And I think Mr. Salamba will introduce why we are here today.
We're here to join Mike and Gabby in holy matrimony.
Again. Okay.
We have been talking about growth. We've been a series talking about growth in
Yeah.
life. And it was, I think, a good time just to have another couple join us in and talk about some of the key areas we've been talking about. And when you talk about growth in marriage, growth is technically a very good thing, but also a very dangerous thing in marriage. You're a young couple, of course, moving up. Every couple has that place when they call you're a young couple. Then suddenly you're calling others you're the young couple. But just look at growth. There are many things we've talked about. We've talked about pregnancy. We've talked about finances. We've talked about career choices. Career changes. All those things have a way they eat into marriage in various parts. That's what you're talking about. Also in the process, we'll see other things. As time allows, we can see fault lines. But yeah, we are here because we assume that you're growing.
It's a good assumption to make.
We want to believe you.
Yeah.
So because in our journey, the thing that that caught us the most, I think we had calculated a few things. I think the children didn't really shock us as much. Yes, there was a lot of change, but it didn't shock us as much. But I think there are parts of our story that kind of shook our foundations very early. And one of them, of course, was a growth in our own careers or growth in whatever, while our Awakening Minds was expanding, also her career was also picking up as well. And that in its own way took a very weird toll. I think we were fortunate enough to kind of realize it, but it had taken its own toll. We had actually really gotten into our things so much. And so we know that growth is something that is inevitable, but also if a couple does not factor it in, it's.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've experienced any growth curves in your marriage that's kind of had you thinking, okay, how do we coordinate through this change, and still keep ourselves together on the same page and keep the peace and keep the love and keep the understanding despite this huge change that's happening in our marriage. You've been married a while. Have you seen any of those growth curves that have really brought you to a new level where you're like, okay, things are not the way they were before. So let's take this growth curve together. And how are you able practically to get through that growth curve?
Okay, maybe I'll go first. There've been a number.
Yeah.
The one that comes to mind is the one just before we got married. I think that was the one time that the realities, and I don't even want to imagine that at that point we knew everything, but then the first sort of big shocker or decision point around getting into marriage is that things change a lot, and especially for us, first family, because we both came from families that were, let me say, quite closely knit, and then realizing that, okay, now this is our first family, and certain decisions have to be made to ensure that that boundary is being protected. First of all, even deciding what is that boundary before you even determine that, okay, now this one we need to protect it. That was a big one. I think that has been one of the bigger ones for us. And I think it got to a point where we sort of just sat down and decided. It wasn't so much, I don't remember it being a single conversation. It's like a series of it. And I think that's the thing I'm coming to learn about growth and change, is that you don't solve it in just one sitting. It's first of all, by the time you realize just how significant that season and that decision that is required is, that's one thing. Then by the time you figure out, okay, what's your perspective, what's mine, how do we meet, and then form ours, and then move forward. So it took a while to get to that point. It took a while. I'd say it took like the whole year of us getting ready to get married. But I'd love to say that once we got to that point, then everything has just felt so easy. It's almost like that part of the puzzle that is the hardest to find. Then when you do, it just flows. Yeah.
I mean, looking at that time, like if we were starting from there, I mean, there was a lot of, definitely there's a lot of growth that happened in that time. And we always have this joke that if you look back at what we've gone through up until this point today, we only have this joke that we share that we've done 100 years of marriage. It's kind of like a crash course of growth. Like she said about, creating boundaries in families, and also just, how we handle challenges was also part of it. There was a lot of things that were happening in that journey towards the wedding, where we realized, okay, before we entered that journey, we were very good friends, and we used to think, okay, everything is okay. But then now, when those things started becoming so real, the aspect of, okay, this is where we are going, these are things we need to be facing, we are all of a sudden we are tackling things together, and you're forced to kind of now start growing and coming out of that cocoon of friendship, bubble of friendship early on, and you just have now start facing and there were some of those challenges were very real, very practical, very deep. They came so thick and fast, and honestly, I think it's just by the grace of God that we went through some of them, because some of them are challenges that even I think if we were to face them after having been married, I don't even know how we would have taken it, because just the magnitude of some of them. But then the way we went through them, I remember there was a part where when we were looking back, she was telling me that there's a part I had actually gone ahead of her and left her somewhere. In terms of everything, looking at everything, mindset, being at a certain point in time, and eventually, I mean, she caught up and on the same page, and we got in. But that is just looking at growth from a relationship perspective in that time. Yeah. So from just that aspect of relationship, from a relationship perspective, it's just been a continuous, consistent journey of growth. Yeah, being triggered by different things.
But just to come in a bit, something that you said, which is important, I think, for many couples, is the assumption. There are two assumptions that have come up, very strong assumptions. Assumption one is that is a thing that changes how friendship changes in marriage. Because you find that before you are dating or you're dating your friends, there's a type of friendship you have.
Yeah.
Then there's another type of friendship that marriage has.
Yeah.
There are like two types. There are different types. And the type of friendship that was there before does not really work well in marriage. That's the weird thing. It fails to work. Then the second thing that comes about now, which is interesting, is that we actually grow differently.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest curveball. We actually grow differently. We don't grow the same. And this is based on very many things in life. Because there are things that will take me a longer time to get to. And how she got in yesterday morning. Yeah. There are things that take me a quick time to switch in and log in and be like, I'm done, I'm going, we are growing this direction. And it takes a bit longer to get into that meeting. You see? And I think I'm looking back at just when we were doing the whole let's talk about two things. One, I talk about when you are getting married. We never had a problem agreeing from the very beginning that our boundaries are this.
Yeah.
That's two. That one we had no problem. That one entered locked and loaded day one. we are in this 2 minutes.
Pretty much.
That decision never bothered us actually. We are naturally two very headstrong people.
Yeah.
So it's funny how we are together to this day. But
it's the Lord.
It's the Lord.
Because
There'll be some casualties.
had it not been.
Had it not been for the
Oh
Lord.
gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So we are naturally very strong-willed people. We are very strong-willed people. And being strong-willed people, it meant that the moment we had agreed we are going a direction, that was it. Like there was no one who would come from my side or her side to come and say we are entering. That was done. That was finished. And so, of course, there's a downside of being both strong-willed. There's a downside to it. Look at our children.
What are you saying?
We are fearful and wonderful.
We are
beings.
wonderful children.
So, but now, where it became interesting now is now in those transitions. You see, now when we get maybe we get married, we get pregnant, and we get in the children and everything. How she logs in absolutely quickly. Like logs in tomorrow morning, she's logged in the hospital bed there. I'm seeing her, she's logged in. Me, I've still not logged in. So I had a problem to transition to that. Now the gap that I had was that after we got our firstborn, I didn't log in to be her support in terms of the husband who is the father of her children. I logged into I need to provide. So I logged into provider. I didn't log into the husband software that has been upgraded to double demand. Because now the software changes. Now she needs me and my son needs me as well. I need to be there for her and to be there for our son. But that growth was too much because now my mind switched to I have 2 mouths to feed. I need to find a way to get this money. And that's it. So in a way, that is growth.
Yeah.
In a way, that is growth. Might not be the right type of growth, but that is growth. I don't know if you remember that season.
I remember that season, but you're so lucky. Because it was a hard season. And I don't know if I was also in survival mode. Because it's like, okay, the baby has come. I'm a mother. I just need to get this stuff done. And I didn't sit back and think like, oh, my husband is not here. My husband is not with me. He's out there. I mean, I was in the place where I understood that things were so tough that he had to be out there.
Outside,
And he would not help me by being in here. I mean, if we're not
You'd kill
able...
me, you'd kill me.
Exactly. Yes. So I had to make the transition very quickly because the situation and the circumstance just demanded it from me.
Yeah.
I just had to be a mother. I had to nurse. I had to change the baby. And
Yeah.
I didn't have those moments where I felt, where is Victor in all of this?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Well, I'm still there.
It worked well. Yeah.
I think later
worked
when
well.
the children came later is when I'm like, I need more support in doing this. I need
Yeah.
you to help me do this. I can actually lean on you more because you've taken care of I'm not like wired on survival mode. I'm more like, okay, this is taken care of, this is taken care of. What else? What else needs to be done?
I was actually just going to ask, how did you realize that, okay, I actually need more help? And especially from the perspective of asking for help, you know, where you're like, you feel like you might feel like you have the capacity to handle stuff, but then you have a husband who could help with some of those items.
Yeah.
But then at what point did you realize, okay, I actually do need to reach out?
I remember one instance with my firstborn. He was not sleeping and I was so tired. I was so tired. I was going mad in the bedroom trying to put this baby to sleep. And I mean, when a baby is not sleeping and you're really, really, really exhausted, it can drive you crazy. And I remember just standing up, going into the sitting room where he was. I think he was watching TV or something, and I just put that baby on him.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
And I went
remember.
and I slept. I didn't care.
And the fellow never slept.
No, but he slept. He did.
No, it's a use that you slept longer. So when you're waking up, you had slept.
I remember just there was silence. It's like,
Yeah.
because you know when you're so exhausted as a mother, the child can feel that agitation and that frustration. So you're there thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this. This baby
Yeah.
must. This. But the baby feels the frustration, and so why not? He's just there relaxing. This is your baby.
I wasn't relaxing.
So in time you were
I was
watching TV.
My mind was.
So to answer the question, how do you know you need, your body will tell you, your mind will tell you. And let's not get to that position where we're like, you know, like how I was drained and I literally just had to dump the baby on him.
Yeah.
It's always about, am I comfortable? Am I okay? And as much as we're focused on the baby, the mother also needs so much support. And I'm so grateful that, you know, we can have this conversation. Because a lot of men maybe think, Toto amezaliwa, we're good. Hospital bill is paid, we're good. There's food in the house. I'm gone. No, we need you there.
But you see something else which also was very apparent at that time, and I don't know how we survived it. It's because again, getting lost within those transitions. Because you see, our firstborn is growing quickly.
Yeah.
Because kids in 1 year they grow. I don't know why they grow very quickly in 1 year. Then from there they kind of slow down. Take too long to leave your house. Then again,
Okay.
take too long. Then after now they leave. Yeah, but somehow that I remember that year went quickly. I'm saying this because you say that, you know, I remember you bringing firstborn, putting him on me. But I also remember going through a season at that time whereby everything was rotating up around this child.
baby.
Everything was about this child, you know. And I say it's a weird thing how God makes them that way, because they come and they just take over. And so suddenly, I don't have the space that I wanted to have. I don't have access
Yeah.
that I had before. And so in all this, you find that now, also as a man, I got lost a bit. I began to wonder, okay, now, where do I fit? You know, where do I... This is bad when you're broke. It's absolutely terrible.
Heightened.
It's terrible when you're broke. It's the worst thing when you're broke. At
Okay.
least, you know, when you have money, you can say, let's go for a family holiday. When you're broke, there's no holiday. So you are there, but there's a window where I find that there's that part whereby, yes, I am seeing maybe that she's going through a particular phase, struggling to nurse the child. And I'm in my own world as well, struggling to make ends meet. But when we come home in the evening, this is the tricky part, is that there is a frustration that is there that is silent. It's silent. So in the silence is when you find now that there's a level of access I don't have, because also she has logged off. She's been the child the whole day, and you have logged off, and you know the day you said what? What you said? You've done what? I've been touched out. Touched them and touched maximum. What?
Well,
Touched out.
Touched
Okay.
out my wax. Okay. Yes,
I don't remember what I said word for word,
Yeah.
but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. She's
I,
like-
my threshold for being touched in that day is
Has reached
out.
the end.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it means. That's what she said. I don't know what it is. She came up with a very good word. And you see, when you're coming home also, I'm coming home in this season, and there's a child, and I'm used to coming home and finding her, and maybe I get a hug, we sit, we talk. Now I'm coming in and there's no access. I feel there's no access. I enter the room, I feel like, in fact, you're coming, you're like, shh. So you tiptoe, you go. When you tiptoe, you go to eat by yourself like a zebra. Then you come back to the room when she's blacked out, and the child is blacked out. That's a season again whereby you find that again was a bit of a big struggle for me to manage that transition, because I began feeling as though I'm isolated. Yeah, I began to feel as though where's my wife, all this? And the problem was that the silence of understanding, that I have to understand what is happening. And she has the silence of understanding that I need to get money. He has to go look for money. I'll kill him here. You see, so there's the mutual understanding, but the understanding was breeding frustration. Yeah.
Yeah, and how would you, I mean, like now look, because now as you're describing this, I'm looking at where we're going, and this is what you're talking about is where we are going. There's like the headlights are just there, so I'm like, okay, I'm seeing, because I'm where we are right now, I'm already seeing like some aspects of that, because understandably where she's right now, there's some days I come home and you know she's tired, and you know, we talk for like a few minutes, then she's asleep, and, and maybe
As she
that
should.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and the understanding has to come in, because I find myself like I'm like, okay, she's sleeping, I understand, and I'm actually almost encouraging, because I know she needs that rest. You know, there's some things which, because I know like she has a career that's demanding, and sometimes when I'm looking out, I'm seeing how it takes a lot from her, her working capacity and everything. That's when she's out there, and then when she comes home, she's totally drained. She has just a couple of minutes for the baby.
Battery 3%.
Yeah, 3%. The one where she'll just be like, just wrap the baby, speak with the baby, and just watching.
Have you not been spoken?
Nothing at all. Okay, not all the time, but it happens quite a bit.
Back it up.
oh my.
Yeah, and I mean, we've laughed about it once or twice, but looking at that, it's just like kind of like watching everything unfolding. And I can, when you're talking about that isolation, I can see it in the horizon. Because I'm sort of, I experience it from just a bit from time to time now, with that understanding of like, okay, she needs that space. Yeah, and then there are times, truly there are times when we plug in, we're together, we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things together. But those moments, I've really connected with what you say. So I'm just wondering, like now, for somebody, let me ask from a guy's perspective. Now, heading into that season, having heard what you say, Hayes, and it's like, you want that support of more than just the bills being paid and all these things, you know, like wanting the partner to be there.
Yeah.
From a guy's perspective, is like how would a guy plug in more
Yeah.
and be more present?
Yeah.
That's number one. And then also conversely, there was a conversation we were having, I think, was it on doing this class, and also the issue about in all this, because it can be intense for the husband. You know, how also as a paper too, like how also does the husband get, you know, I don't want to call it support because maybe the ladies will be like, it's your job, you need to be there. but
Loading. Wait for
yeah,
it.
yeah, one, how can a guy just plug in to be more supportive? And then how does that balance come in where both the father and the mother are, you know, also just supported, and they're all feeling supported, and they're feeling like they're together in it. So that's what's going on through my mind.
Yeah,
right
I think
now.
you've kind of answered yourself already in the sense that you're being open to see how you can be more involved when the child comes. And really, for me, I think the way a man can be more involved is to participate in the things that involve the baby. You know, there's so much you can do. You can wash, you can help wash the baby, you can help massage the baby, you can help carry the baby when, you know, she needs a nap. Like, for those first 3 to 6 months, it's very baby intensive. So in your mind already psychologically, you need to be prepared that it's going to be about the baby. There's no other way. It's a fragile new person who's come into your home, and you want to be a part of the process. How do you become a part of the process? Get involved in the things that surround the baby. In that way, you're talking to her more, you're in her space more, you're discussing things more together just by being in the same space and helping out, not just observing, like, okay. But you're in the process, you're in the diaper changes, you're in the hair washing, you're in the massaging of the baby's feet. You're also bonding with her because there's moments when she's just exhausted. She's nursing the baby, you're sitting down on the other side of the couch massaging her feet. You're talking about life. You're planning.
You notice I'm quiet.
You
notice how quiet I am.
know, you're literally touching your wife. You know, you're expressing love to her in a space where, in a time where you can't express it in other ways. But you're showing her that you're there, you know, that you love her, that you and the child are important. Like, you're just there. That's how I see how men can plug in more. Yeah. What do you think? What could you have done?
I am not thinking. Well, what I know from again, something that is very tricky for men. And I'll bring it in 2 parts. Part 1 is that there's a key word we're using here, which is understanding. And understanding is a very good thing in marriage, but also a dynamite. Because understanding can also make the person doing the understanding feel misunderstood and undervalued. So understanding is a very dangerous thing. Yeah. Understanding is a good thing, that I want you to understand that I'm tired, it's about the baby, it's about the baby. While I'm understanding you, it's about the baby. The more I understand it's about the baby, the more I move to a place of feeling unappreciated and undervalued. As time goes by, I begin to ask myself, when are my needs also a priority? Remember, naturally we are selfish. People get to marriage to take. You don't get married, no. People get married to take. So the bottom line is, I'm thinking now, okay, now I'm at a place, I've come into a system whereby, fine, I'm now giving. I'm coming, I'm meeting at the baby, I'm doing all to the baby. Oh, it's about the baby, it's about the baby. Number one, as a man, I am making a decision to leave what is comfortable to me, what I know, because as a man, I need to make that decision myself.
Yeah.
As a man, I must come to the place as a man and say, I want to change my my son's diaper or my daughter's diaper. I want to participate in the washing. It must be a choice that comes from inside.
Yeah.
When it comes from inside, then the man enjoys the process. It means that he's reading the mood and he's doing it. When the guy is being told, come change diapers, as sure as the sun rises tomorrow, those diapers will be changed. But that guy will become a day scholar. He'll ensure he comes, the child has slept. And the perpetrator of all those things is asleep also. So he always has time. So as you find that many men, when their wives get children, men disappear, they run. Because a demand is put. And a demand is put on something that the man was never wired for. Remember, we cannot move the natural wiring. It is a conscious choice. I chose to change my son's diaper as a conscious choice. That I thought it is me doing my duty as a father. Yes. So I'm going to do my duty as a father. I want to be part of this process. I took photos of his first release just to show him in case one day he decides to answer me and look at this video. I changed your first name. So there are things that as a man, the problem we have now is that men are being forced into it. And when you force it into it, you deny care. It becomes duty. Because care is, I see you are tired, I'll come take the child. I may be tired, but because I see you are tired, I may choose to sacrifice myself and say, for this moment, no, I have more RAM. Yeah, I'm going to carry the child. I have more RAM. Yeah, I'll stay with the kids. I have more RAM. I'm willing to dig deeper at this point. I understand. I can see something. When I'm being told, I need you here, be here, supporting it now, there, now, it becomes now tension. Now we begin to fight about the child who was to bring us together. You see. The second thing now is being undervalued. Now, it's a good thing which is very important. I think I've talked this before in a talk. I said that the best thing is meet at the child. Meet at the child. That's the easiest way to bond is meet at the child. But also, you never demoted our marriage. Yeah, that's the thing. You never demoted our marriage to parenting. Because you said a dangerous thing. You said, how does a father and a mother? That's dangerous. Oh, dangerous. That's a bomb. It is how does a husband and a wife meet to raise this child. That's it. Yeah, because marriage precedes children. So she never demoted the marriage to level 2, that now we are co-parenting. No. There are still moments when she'd ask me, and they're critical questions to be asked. As a man, it shows care. When she asks me, by the way, I know we have been on the baby for long. We have not been intimate. How are you faring on? That question shows that she's concerned. That can last me another day or two.
It's real.
Yes, it's real because, she cares. She cares. But now it's about the baby. It's about the baby because marriage, truthfully speaking, babe, children take 2 years.
Yeah.
Children eat 2 years of a marriage. They eat 2 years. They eat the power they go. On average, it's 2 years. Yeah. 9 months of the pregnancy. Isn't it? Yes.
Then baby comes,
Baby
it's
comes.
a whole whirlwind.
It's a whole whirlwind. So a child takes 2 years. That one, a minimum, a child carries 2 years. So meaning that you have 1 year where you are adapting short term. Then another year where you are adapting to create momentum for the next baby.
Getting ready.
Okay. So you're trying to build like a system because there's been a glitch in the entire system. So I personally think that understanding is good because during growth, understanding is brilliant. I believe as a man when I see that, I think my wife has gone through a lot. She's carried the baby for 9 months. It's good for me to understand her, yes. But it helps me when she also understands me. And she looks and says, by the way, I know this change is too much. How are you faring on? How are you feeling right now? And she used to check up on me. Within the poverty, she still checks up on me. How are you faring on? How are you faring on? Okay, how are you faring on? What can we do here? And there are things we are deliberate to keep active at that time. We were very keen to keep our sex life active. That was something we were deliberate about in those 9 months because we knew it can go with it. We were deliberate to try, the basic things we used to do, try talk as much as we could. The basic things that even when the child came, there was a system that was so hard driven that yes, even though I had my moments of isolation, it was easy to come and sit and have a discussion and be like, wow.
It's dry.
It's been a while.
It's tough. It's fast of last week. I didn't know your mom thing. There's always an avenue of communication. There's an avenue of conversation. But the thing is, the problem is understanding, because I may understand that she's going to do her PhD because I'm choosing to understand. But in me understanding, I feel undervalued.
Yeah, but I think
that's always the balance. That
it's also quite important for us to express, those areas where we're feeling hard pressed. Because in understanding you, I also need to express that, okay, I understand that you're going through all this. I understand that you have to, take leave off of work and go do your PhD. I'm understanding. But how does this now impact upon the marriage? I think understanding and open, candid conversations in the marriage, how that change will impact upon, the couple is also important. Because a lot of us tend to be frustrated even in the marriage. And it's so scary to open up to our partner and say, okay, this is an amazing thing that you want to do, or this is an amazing change that's coming into our marriage. But I'm afraid that, it's going to impact us in this certain way. And maybe we're not going to be able to stand through those transitions. So in as much as we're understanding, we also need to communicate and keep those
Lines
of communication open, where I can just come up and say, okay, it's been 3 months. When are we going to build upon that thing and make it better for the marriage? Yeah.
I think that's so valid, because I also remember there was a time during this season when we so there are a couple of things we've been through together. So for instance, if we're to look at where our businesses are and our career lines, because we're not new to them, it's kind of been a bit easier to transition into them and find a way to find a pattern around making the marriage work and still making lives around that work. It took some time still, because then it meant being exactly what you said, deliberate. So we agree that, okay, fine, we have busy schedules, but we kept remembering we did it before when we were planning the wedding. It was just us and no committee as such around us, meaning if we wanted to make our schedules work, for instance, we could for anything, whether it's intimacy, going out on dates, whatever, and that fell in place. But then it got to a point, like now during this journey of the pregnancy and everything, when I started to realize that we've been talking a lot about the baby, like planning for the baby. Just like shopping, setting up the room, doing this and the other. And then it just hit me that I feel like I have initiated a lot of those baby-led conversations.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, and I remember one day we're just lying in bed, and I'm like, so as we're planning for this, for the baby and on what's coming and what's changing, do you have any fears? And I think that opened up a lot. Like it made me realize what I hadn't seen before, because I thought, we're all in this baby wave together, and the things we've been doing are going to work. Like we have no fears. If there are any concerns, it's about the baby, but after we're good. And I think that really, it really opened up my eyes, because that's when I was like, oh, actually, wait. If we're not careful, actually, the marriage is actually. And then now that got us then to sort of rewire and then look at what have we been taking for granted. Like sometimes those dates that you can do spontaneously now might need to be a bit more planned and intentional, but they get done anyway. And I'm thinking there could be so many other things that we probably haven't even talked about, probably because we can't even see them yet.
Yeah.
But I wonder how you would advise a couple that's in our place, and you have the benefit of hindsight, where you're like, you look back and you're like, yeah, this is how to do things, how to fit things around. But it's almost like we're getting in there and realizing it's when you're at the brink of, okay, this thing could actually be greatly impacted, our marriage in this case, by the changes that are happening around us. And I'm just thinking, what if now when things change even more, when there are more children, when we're traveling more, and is there a way to prepare for such?
The friendship. I always go back to
Yeah.
the two of us have to be like on the same level in terms of there's no resentment, there's no anger between us. There's like an openness that we have, like we're honest with each other, as painful as it is sometimes. It's always ensuring that there is a platform where all these changes can land. As heavy or as, rattling as they are, they're coming to land on a place where we've built a structure, we've built a relationship. Everything that's coming is coming and meeting us there. So like what you're saying is so important, like keeping those date nights coming, keeping that intentional checking up on each other, talking, just trying to figure out what those changes will mean. I mean, I don't think a lot of couples even sit down to think, okay, baby is coming. How is this going to impact upon our marriage? It's something that people don't, it's what we do. We go, we buy, we fix up, we're ready. Lamaz is done. Like, it's just ticking the boxes.
Shower.
Then the showers.
Relatives have come home.
It's all the superficial things. And then when it's all said and done, where are the two of you in all of this? So I would say those things that change the marriage need to come and land on the platform of our marriage that is like strong, it's like consistent. It's like we love each other, we know each other well enough to be like, okay, this change is coming and it's heavy, but it's coming to land on a place where we've built. The structure is standing. Yeah.
I think just looking at that, I've just thought about that discussion you're talking about. Remember that you have to always remember in every season of marriage, you are different. And the illusion of marriage is we think we're the same. We are different. And I always say God has a sense of humor, because even how God pairs you is sense of humor. As I said, I'm not generally a person who's agreeable to things. That's my lovely wife. So
what are you saying?
I'm just saying. You see already. You see.
What do you mean? You see.
So generally, if you look at all that, you find that there's a possibility whenever we begin to look at anything, I begin from north, she begins from south. I begin at 100, she begins at 1,000. Like we always begin at the exact extreme of the room. And as I said, we are not generally people who, God is just a miracle worker.
Okay.
But
I'll take it. He has to be.
He has to be God. He has to be God. But here's the thing. And how do you keep it going? Is because when that friendship is there and it's established, even in our stubbornness and our own independence, because that's what the marriage we have ensured does not take from us, is our independence. That I am myself, she is who she is, and we are different. And there are times we can have a discussion in the house about women rights and men rights, and we go opposite sides of the room. Absolutely opposite sides of the room. She's there, that's the end. Absolutely, because, and that's the beauty of it, is to allow that different perspective to come in. So when that different perspective is there, now when you understand that, now you're going through like the phase you're going through. You are lying on the bed, talking about you're talking about the baby Lord. Hey, babe, so what are your fears? Jamaka, muka. Now, let me tell you. Please, I want to the guy woke up. He was okay, now this involves me now. Because remember that the beautiful thing about pregnancy is different in a way from other changes in marriage, but still they are almost the same, because every change in marriage has got a person who has a different eye view. All of them are different eye view. If at all I decide to go set up the ministry in Croatia, when I'm in Croatia I have a different eye view. When she's in Nairobi, she's a different eye view, but still the same marriage. So that's when that children are coming. Yes, we have a different eye view to all these things. Pregnancy is one thing that is very funny, because men have a different eye view to pregnancy. You go up, you come down. We have a different eye view to pregnancy. Absolutely different eye view. We look at it from outside. We don't know. So all these conversations you are initiating because we don't know what to initiate. What do I initiate now? What do I initiate? I cannot explain what morning sickness is. I have no explanation in English, in grammar. I don't know what to do. Mine is to flow. So mine is to flow. So what you find that happens is that in the process of all the changes, that as you're flowing, I have to remember that marriage comes first. Marriage comes first. And remember, statistically, I've said this. And many marriages end up at affairs after the second child, over 75%. Because 2 children is 4 or 5 years of marriage gone. 4 or 5 years of marriage gone without intimacy, without talking, without flirting, without laughing, all those things. There's a new culture. You are now co-parents. You are now co-parents. It's done. Yes. What brings you home is there are people who look like you. That's it. So if you do that, I'm not saying that people to be afraid to get children. Get 18 if you want. But it's to understand that statistically, and when we're doing research to find out why is it that statistically every marriage, many marriages struggle after the second child, is because of that gap. It's the first one, we were both excited, it's the first one we'll get by. Second one. Now, meaning that my wife had 100% bandwidth for me. This little fellow came, took 40. Okay, I can live with 40. The second guy came, took another 40. Oh, she's remaining with 20. 20 is for her, her career, her walk with God. Where left I thou? So, and one thing that I think, babe, we have done well through the years, which I thank God for, I don't know how we managed to do it, is we have never been afraid to have candid conversations. Of course, it's gotten easier with age. Initially, it was a bit dicey, but we have been afraid to discuss difficult matters. And how difficult matters we have to talk about is what does this impact? When we began, when the ministry began and I began doing the Friday classes, I've said this before, I was pursuing what I felt was necessary at the time, which is we need to grow now. In the process, I took away the date night. In my mind, I thought I was postponing it.
To when?
I was postponing. I was postponing it until
in heaven.
Until our third child. Now.
Okay.
Oh no!
Wow. So in my mind, I thought it was temporary, and I was going through a growth. What was the growth I was going through? I was going through a season in my life where I was feeling that if I don't establish something now, I will never establish it. I entered the age as a man, I was afraid about my legacy, my status. That was the biggest thing in my head. You see, and I thought that no, at the end of the day, if it's going to be a Friday, it's going to be a Friday and Passover. And we agree, I said we are not generally very agreeable. People are hard-headed. She has a well-structured.
Okay.
So you see, I stood my ground, and she stood her ground. She's like, I'm not for this. I don't agree with this. And all through, she never kept her. I don't agree with this. You took away the date night for that Bible class. You took away the date night for that Bible class. And I'm thinking, you are attacking the Bible class, I'm pursuing my dream. Why are you taking my dreams? I'm going to pursue the dream anyway. So you see, and we continued. And so, and you see, and that was a very... And it's a very silent part, but my mind, I'm thinking, I'm at a stage in life where I am afraid. I'm entering a season, I'm afraid. I'm thinking, if something doesn't begin to add up now, it might never add up. But the flip side is this. That time, her career is picking up as well. So also the insecurity that she had 3-4 years ago is not the same. Is it not that growth that has taken place?
Yeah.
It's not the same. She's no longer, before she told me, go, by the way, leave the house, go now, do those things you have to do. Now she's thinking, come on, dude, there. So you see, now we are fighting differently because now we are looking at things from a different point of view. It took a while, but it's a discussion we kept on having. And uncomfortable because I had no solution. I had no answer because I'm thinking I can't even commit to something now. I don't know what's happening. There's a lot changing. Her career is picking up. In the process, what happens is you find now, still, that discussion never left the table. As hard as it was, I felt attacked. I felt attacked at times.
Not attacked, but you were attacking the marriage.
No, it was Awakening Minds. It was the intruder. So you see now, and we see now we go through that break, and we have of course the first two children are born. All that happening, the first two children are already born. You see now the third born is coming. There's been a lot of shift.
Yeah.
A lot of change has taken place in her line of work, in my life. A lot has taken place. That's another very drastic shift as well now. Now we have to relearn some things. We're going back into some things as well. So I'm just saying that when you're looking at the journey from end to end, and as these curveballs are coming, you have to understand that you always have different perspectives as to how you look at the growth. Always they'll be different. And you have to have a discussion, even through pregnancy, through giving birth, through whatever, anything. I'm losing money, losing a job, losing whatever, anything that happens in life. Remember that the eyes of my spouse are different from mine. And I need to know what they are seeing. I should not assume that my position is different. I should not assume that. Yeah, when I assume that, I actually lose it. Remember when I was about to be arrested? Yeah. And I was telling her that, I'm about to be arrested here. Aren't you afraid? And she told me, I'm thinking I'm raising these kids alone.
Oh wow, her mind has gone to.
She's trying to think, how am I going to manage these kids by myself?
Oh my gosh.
This criminal is going. Yeah. But you see, we are afraid differently. Me, I'm afraid. I'm thinking I'm going to go into prison. I just thinking, how am I going to raise this kid by myself? And now she does not know what to do, so she's just watching. Because she's trying to process. Me,
Yeah,
I'm
also.
Baby.
There's something there.
Let's not discuss that anymore.
I've given the Sunday morning version.
The PG version.
The Sunday morning version.
Okay.
At Benny Thursday.
That's very a Thursday. Ni sawa.
And Bishop, I have a question because you mentioned about, you talked about having those continuous conversations, which in case you're talking about them being the foundation of things coming to land. And when you're talking about when there's that difference because of the growth that's happening, for example, you replacing the date nights with the Friday class, from your perspective.
I've tried many things to recover. That's something I've never recovered.
So it's like, no, never let it go.
Hey.
But you see, in that moment, it's that from the beginning of that conversation, you said that for you, it was a dream you were chasing. You said you felt like your dream was being attacked. Equally, Pastor is like, the marriage is being attacked. And you say that you continue to have those conversations. So it's this, and I imagined, first question that came to mind was, number one, how long did it take until, you like each of you came into each other's shoes, if I may call it that, to see the perspective of the other person? That's question one. Then the second thing is that in that period, like that, let me call it a waiting period for lack of better words, when you're still having those conversations, like, how do you navigate that season of, like, let's say, I'm still, for example, you are that season when you are still trying to sell your point of view to Hayes, and she was also trying to sell her point of view about, the marriage is being attacked, and you're still having those how you're just navigating that period until the part where you kind of like fit into each other's perspective, because I'm hearing the way you've given us that, how you went through it, and like, okay, you had a conversation, but when you dive deeper into it, there's that actual walk in that journey, because I'm imagining when you get there, we'd be like, okay, we've come to a place where we have something similar, and probably I'd be like, Bishop saying we had a conversation, so maybe let's have a conversation, and maybe in my mind, and there's something that I feel like maybe from your experience you could share that experience, how to go through it, so that when that happens, there's a place also where we can sort of go back to, in terms of like when there's that need for that waiting period for either me to get to see what she's seen, her perspective, and and the other way around,
Yeah. I think it took a really long time.
Like 6 years.
Maybe more. Probably more. That for me, I think it took a lot of complaining to God. To be honest, I had to go to God a lot and just say that this is a wonderful thing. And you know, the issue is that it ran deeper than just our date night. It's like, where is all this going? It's like, I'm feeling like we're going in a direction that I didn't sign up for.
It was not the plan initially.
Yes, not the plan. It's never been on my. It's never.
Yeah.
Like, where is all this going? And I think like that. I think of. So why are we dropping our date night on Fridays to do Bible study? Number one, where is all this leading to? And I had those moments of, this is not what I want to do, not on Fridays. This is the time I want to spend, with my husband. And it's like really sacred time for us. So I had to be honest to God, like, what is happening? And many Fridays I came, I did not want to be there, let me be honest.
Oh.
Yeah, and we had like a lot of tension on those Fridays. It was usually like deflected to other things. But for me, I knew like this is supposed to be our date night, number one. Number two, where are we going with all of this? What is the end goal of all of this? And I've been married to him for a while. I know he's also quite... he thinks like I think. So it's not just it's something else.
Yeah.
And I really grappled with this and telling God, like, what's all this? Like, why do we have to do this? But I think the good thing that's really helped us, and I know we joke about it and say God really kept us, but he's the one who just took us through those seasons. And they were not easy seasons. Like, you'd be okay Friday, you've come, you've just had Bible study, it was good, you had worship, but the way home is just like silence. We just had so many of those. Like, we had very raw moments. And we can't really identify what it is, but we labeled it, the date night is gone, we're doing the Friday Bible class. So what I did was really pray on it and just tell God, like, I don't know what's happening. But I kept coming. I kept showing up for the marriage. Because at the end of it all, the core of it all, I knew that this man, it's coming from a good place. And in as much as I feel like it's hindering the marriage, it's coming from a good place. People are coming. I'm also there. I'm benefiting. God is drawing me closer to him. So it's like all these things are happening. But what about the marriage? But then at the same time, something is transforming within me. And I think that's what just kept me coming. And slowly God is just moving things. You can't remain the same when you're exposed to his presence.
Very true.
So in as much as I'm upset, I'm there. God was just chiseling and fixing and making it work. And I think now we've come to the place. I don't even know when the switch happened. Because I remember taking myself on solo dates. I was like, you don't want to come with me? Excuse me, I can take myself. I was like, yeah, I can go whatever. Send him photos, I can do it, whatever. Yeah, but God has brought,
Wow, that is so real. Like, oh my goodness.
Man is power.
Wow.
Man is power. Man is power.
Yeah, so I would say that God did it, and just not giving up on him, and just really understanding that this is something that was core in his identity, which he expressed to me even before we got married. I always have that voice telling me, like, with me, God is first. God is first. Whatever he wants me and needs me to do, that's what I'm going to do. I love you and everything. I'm for the marriage, I'm for you, but God is first.
Yeah.
And that's something that I was told before. It was in the contract.
You can't say it was a surprise.
You just walk into it. Terms and conditions.
And now that we're here, I think there's I just remembered a friend of mine from like campus and high school days who had been with her boyfriend for a couple of years until and they were of very different faiths. But then the kind of lifestyle they led was very similar. But then one day the guy got saved and he went really deep into his faith, and I think he was like on his way to becoming a pastor in that church, and that was like growth for him. But then it just no longer worked for their relationship.
Yeah.
So there's that growth that you don't really plan for, because some of it is like for your situation, it finds you within the marriage where it's like, okay, we said yes. My husband already told me about the calling. Mine is different because we found it when in the midst of all this. But then when I think of when I thought of my friend and the situation she was in, I was like, I could never. Like that's such a drastic change.
It
So
is.
when you're in a situation where such a significant change comes into a relationship, like whether it's dating or a marriage, and you feel like it's literally going to change or like shake the core of who you are, and then like, how do you prepare for a situation like that?
I don't think you can prepare.
Can't.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can prepare. I think in a marriage, there's like divine grace for you to grow into whatever the marriage is supposed to grow into. But it's not easy, and it's not scripted, and it's raw, and it's painful, and it's sacrifice.
There's another hand. One more.
And it's intense. You can never be prepared for good changes. Maybe you can, but the changes that really require you to look at yourself and be like, okay, who am I?
Yeah.
Have I always been this person and never knew? Am I meeting myself for the first time? And I think we've had quite a number of those transitions in our marriage, where it's not just a transition for him, it's a transition of identity. And that's explosive.
Yeah. Speak.
So to answer your question, there's no way to prepare. It's just like taking it a day at a time and being open to the change to see what can become of the marriage. You see, the marriage always has to be the first baby of the union. If it's doing well, if it's flourishing, you're happy, things are going well, that's a huge tick. Everything else kind of comes and cushions around it. But it takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of thinking outside the box to make the marriage stand when you're going through those identity transitions.
Yeah.
And remember, something that I think we learned very early from one of the key mentors we had was that always go back to the one who gave you the spouse. And that's what you did. When God, this man you gave me.
Yeah.
And I used to go and tell God,
This woman.
this woman you gave me, she's not supporting the calling. Lord, why is she not supporting the calling? Why, Lord? Why isn't she? But you see, what happened is that again, you're just going back to two very critical things that are very foundational. Is one, to trust. And what is to trust? To trust is that there's a path that my spouse has taken. And do I trust that the path they have taken is good for us? Does it make them a better person, number one? That makes it easier to kind of be like, okay,
Fine.
let's roll the dice. So there's a trust aspect to it. And I think that's what played a part, is that she trusted that whatever I was doing was coming from a place of, I want the family to go forward. I want the family to move forward.
Yeah.
It's the how, because even I was grappling with it. And one time we had a very raw discussion. I told her, even I am afraid. Even I'm not sure what's happening. I don't know. I'm also going and I'm trying to keep a brave face, because there are many people who are looking up to me and they think I know what I'm doing. And even I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just following instructions. I don't know what I'm doing. And I think in that moment, I think we kind of had a light bulb moment, I think, in a way. And also a very weird thing also, that also God was telling me something else. That also, no matter what she is, she's there. She's supporting. And that's it. She might not be supporting the way I think she should. Yeah. Which was true. At that time I didn't know. It's different when you've come, I've finished maybe the Friday class or Saturday class, you've prayed, you've gone home. But now, there's a backstory. There's a backstory of she's grappling with where is all this thing going. Then even he took away that card at night. So when you're going home, I'm expecting us to talk about the service. Talk about the service and how powerful it was, how the Holy Ghost moved, how he touched. But when we go home, she doesn't want to talk about it. She's processing. In the process of processing, you find that it builds resentment because I think that she's angry at me for doing what God asked me to do. So I begin to overthink now, what if I was at the bar? Would she be thinking like this? Then I begin to put things that were not there in the first place.
Yeah.
So conversation enabled us to understand the curve and understand that, by the way, and to articulate that, by the way, this actually changed and this happened. And in the process, I went back to, personally, what I went back to was a very fundamental lesson, which is that in marriage, we all want to be relevant. So I'm becoming a pastor. Fine. What role does she play in this process? You see, she's going to Geneva. What role do I play in this process? In a marriage, once you begin to feel you are losing relevance, you begin to bite. You want to be relevant. So at times, not even that friend of yours was that the guy was becoming a pastor. No, is that where do I fit in? I'm not ready yet for this. I don't believe in God, but I'm not ready for this yet. Where do I fit in? And one of the things that happened with her was I allowed her to ease into the change. I didn't force some of the changes. Now you must, do this. I didn't force. I allowed it to carve and enter slowly. And it's wisdom that God gave me because, again, I know. As I said, we have the same kind of gifts. We look at things the same way. And we're both kind of people who, if you push something a lot, we kind of don't do it.
Yeah.
So I knew if I force her, you have to come there. People have to see you supporting me, stand with me, like Serita Jakes. Now,
Who?
in a moment, I'm going to go and marry Teresa. So I had to be very prudent. I had to be very prudent in keeping her abreast of what's happening, yes, but for her to understand this is where I fit in this mathematics. Because the problem in marriage is when you don't know where you fit anymore. I've gotten or my company has grown. Where do you fit in? Where does my spouse fit in? As you find that even in marriage, when I start a business and I do business with my friends who are doing big business, and she doesn't know about it, she begins to wonder where does she fit. Because marriage is supposed to be like a plug and a socket. So if it can't enter, there's always rebellion of some kind. So she had to come to a place of seeing, and I had to allow her the grace to see it for herself and embrace it herself. That was a very big decision in the process. In the process, understand that, and I had to apologize for the date night. I had to go back with the apple when in Choma. I'll take you to Maldives. You can be about to pay for it. So I don't know what to pay for it. But you see, it's the realization that everything that happened in that time, I was grappling something. So what we've learned also is to look at what are we grappling with in this particular season. We're starting up, maybe opening up a church, for example. What are we grappling with now? What are you dealing with right now? Where are you in all this? These are my fears. And my fears are not your fears. These are my fears. And I can tell you what my fears are. I'm afraid that that when we get our firstborn, you'll forget about me. I am afraid. That's why there are guys who don't want children after that. The experience, and because of a rejection, somewhere in the spirit, I'm doing another child, And the guy refused another, because the guy went through rejection. You wonder, how does a baby bring rejection? Because I felt, no, I could not tell you that I feel this way. Yeah.
Why do men find it really difficult to express something like that? That I'm afraid when the first baby comes, that you're going to forget. That's such a look at my heart kind of statement. And men don't quickly.
Because statistically is that when men express their hearts to the ladies, the ladies tell the men how they should express themselves.
Meaning? And how do we do that?
I'm serious. Because
Is that true, Mike? Is it?
Pleading the fifth.
Let me hear the of that.
let me explain. Because what happens is that if a man begins to say, this is an average marriage, a man begins to say, I'm afraid of 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's likely that the wife will be like, now you know what I go through in this pregnancy, carrying this child has been difficult. And the guy ends up feeling bad that he made the wife feel bad about what he said. And so he's forced to apologize for what he said. So what happens is the man decides, I'll not say next time because I'll make you feel bad. Yeah. Say amen, Pastor Mike. Say amen.
Babe.
There's your answer.
That's peer pressure.
That's what happens. That's why, on average, many men will not say anything. Because when he'll say, she will not take it. Oh, okay. Okay, I get it. Okay, now, okay, I'm going to do, okay, fine, I get it. She'll get into a place where she'll make it feel like she has been hurt badly. I don't think it's laughing. But I made up caused a problem. You have caused a problem. I'm answering a question. I'm hearing chuckles at that time. Maybe a long night.
Oh my God.
I'm funning it. So you find that. So
not a long one.
What happens on average and that's why you find that many men don't really express, because when he expresses something and brings whatever is in his heart to the wife, there's a way that if it's something maybe the wife will not maybe take well or something, she'll go to a place of maybe being sad and not take it. Oh, by the way, okay, you are teaching me. This is the thing, is that when I express my heart, I'm teaching you how to love me. You see. So when I come home and say, next time I come, I come home, you don't give me hugs, and I feel lonely. At times I feel like, you don't value me as much. What do you mean I don't value you? I've been home the whole day with the children. And what happens? You switch off, you go into a mood of sulking. And the guy thinks, my plan was never to ruin the day. I never wanted to ruin this evening. Now, did I say something wrong? So what if I said something wrong? And the moment a guy begins to apologize for saying something wrong, our minds go to not say it next time. I would rather avoid making you feel bad, and I'd rather carry this thing myself. The danger is that it normally builds to silent resentment. Because the guy realizes, I can never, over time he'll move to, I won't tell you that, then I will not tell you, then I will never tell you, then I cannot tell you. Go for it.
Where?
I've just said, Mike is not that way. Yes. Yeah. That's why you find that many men struggle to express. And that's why you find even in marriage, the conversation struggles. As you said, during the pregnancy period, you find that the discussion of how are you faring on? How are you faring on? If maybe marriages are very dicey in their own way, their marriages, you find, I think, one of ours, we are told, there's no intimacy, I think, for the first, trimester or something. Remember? I think it was our first one. Yeah, that was a very good medical.
A directive.
Yeah, directive from the doctor. But you don't dare now because, yes. So in the process, what keeps is a conversation. So if she doesn't ask me, how am I faring on? I'm likely not to come and say. You find that many marriages, you find that people can talk about serious matters because I'm afraid if I speak my heart, I'll make you feel bad. And instead of looking at it that the person has said what they're feeling, not to kill me. No, they're saying that I can be better. They are teaching me how to love them. They are telling me they don't like this. So if my partner says they don't like this, then I should quickly adapt. Now, how do men think? Men think I'll tell him, by the way, next time, sawa. Ufurahiange ni story. Okay, sawa. That's how guys in the process. So we'll think it's done.
That's how guys process. Guy to guy.
Yeah. So you see now with the problem when it comes to marriage, it creates a short circuit. I say that we are different. Yeah. So when I short circuit, some they go, okay, now why? Sorry, did I say something bad? I apologize. I didn't mean for it to come bad. So now that makes the person feel bad. They feel bad that they made you feel bad.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's a valid point.
Thank you. We have agreed.
We love it. We're the first to see.
No, we've agreed on many. So, yeah, it's a valid point. Why? Because, yeah, sometimes women get very defensive, but men also get quite defensive, I believe. But I think that in knowing how your partner takes, like, I don't want to say negative feedback, but if they're not quick to take in something negative that the partner has observed in the marriage, there's a way you can create the environment to say something that's heavy, you know? Like I can come and say, okay, I value you, I appreciate you as my partner in this marriage, you know, you shower them with all the good things sincerely and just tell them like, I know you're trying so hard, but I need a little bit of help in this area. You know, there's a way you can package something to your partner to not make them feel like, after all I've done, after what do you mean? Yeah, so I feel like as couples, we really need to be patient with each other because we're so quick to have wisdom when we're in the workplace. You won't just come to someone direct, I need this, da, 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 da. You'll take the time to think, how can I express, if you're a good professional, you think, how can I express this thing in a way that my colleague is able to take this feedback and not feel disrespected and not feel devalued or unappreciated. The same way we need to do in our marriages. Like just take that moment to be like, okay, this is something very difficult, but I need to express it. And since you know how your partner is, you kind of know the packaging. You know how to set the atmosphere to say something that's heavy on you, but not to make them feel like they're not doing anything. So I think that can help a lot in getting the other person to be like, okay, I don't like what you said, but nimesikia.
It's very important. That's very important because that's very, very, very important. I don't like what you said, but it's because no one wants to feel like they're failing. It's just the bottom line. No one wants to feel like they're failing, and we are all wired to compete differently. Those who have always those who rise on their challenge, those who cave. So it's good to know. It's good to know that balance. But that open door, you talked about communication being that open door is critical. Being able to talk about it as critical and as open as possible, and be willing to go to the deep, difficult conversations. That one you must. You know, you are taking this promotion. What does it mean? And I'm open to say, by the way, I don't think you should take this promotion. Not that, and you to think, I'm not saying this because I don't want you to rise, but I'm saying this because I can see an outcome from where I am sitting. There are things we have gone through in our marriage a couple of years back, which I had the ability to say something, but I never said. And so when things went to a place now it's life and death, now I'm like, by the way, I should have said. I actually saw I should have said, you know. Or you find that we've gone, and that's the beautiful thing about when you also to acknowledge that you have to be willing to mature deliberately. Because time will make you grow, yes. Life will make you grow, yes. But you must be willing to mature deliberately. That you must choose to mature deliberately. You must be willing to sit and ask those difficult questions. Are you satisfied? Are you happy with me? You must be able to ask those questions. Yes. What do you view from 0 to 10? Where are we? Yes. Do you regret this? But difficult questions, put them on the table. Because what it does is that it creates room for vulnerability and to navigate those weird corners. Because a marriage can have failure to launch. And the couple has decided they won't grow, they will grow outside. So we're not going to mature here, we'll mature outside. So what I was to tell her, I say outside. So I'm outside telling people, you know, the baby came and I'm not being talked to. The baby came and I'm not being hugged. The baby came and my wife stopped caring about this. Oh, you know, now we have moved to a place, you have just not to mature, you have to grow outside. So I must be willing within the marriage, like, no, I'm going to come and I'm going to sit with you and talk to you by the way, honestly, I don't think that I'm happy with this. Or I think this one you have left, or I think this is not working, or this. The same way we normally correct very quickly. Pick up the socks.
There's no preamble. There's no preamble for that one. It's a wise way to be like, okay, how can I?
Yesterday I go to home, Pastor Mike, you left socks on the floor there. Then you left that there.
Really?
Then I had to ask, okay, what else? You are an amazing man. You call it's absolutely criminal. Yeah.
Funny.
Absolutely criminal.
Oh my goodness.
I forgot the environment. I forgot.
Fuck the environment.
Environment gave me last minute. And you are an amazing husband. I'm already picking sauce in the house.
I forgot the environment. That's so funny.
Yeah. No.
There's more to that story, but let me just
The environment.
let's keep it on the environment.
The environment found me. It was rescued. But I think just to close this, I think for me the biggest thing is that keep the communication lines open during growth, and be willing to see through your spouse's eyes. What you fear is not how they fear. And be willing to know that what they are seeing is real to them. And it's a genuine concern. If your partner says, I think that this business trip when you go, I don't like the people you're traveling with. I think they are not good men or they're not good women in that trip. Don't start saying, why don't you trust me? That's a growth curve. The marriage is maturing, but I can tell you I see danger. Because growth is not just children coming. No, growth is also the ability to go back. The marriage remains first. We say at the time that whatever was in the marriage before must continue. Those ones must continue. They must always continue. We don't kill the things that were there before. And everything changes. I think we have seen our marriage without. We have seen, when we have seen provision has come in. We've seen a second provision come. Then you see the time when we also have gone through very difficult, again, strain as well. Again, another growth curve came in. Again, the Lord opened up the doors. We have seen all those things. We've had 2 children close to each other, had a break. The other came again. We have seen all these changes from having a Bible class to now, what is happening here with the church and everything. There are many transitions you've seen over this time. The thing that has kept us is that we have always ensured we have a place to meet. And we have built, we are not perfect. Oh, trust me. But we have built an ecosystem that supports us. And there are many things that we find we naturally tend to do together. We have small, tiny habits. We often, unless it's otherwise, we'll have to be in the same car. A drop her at work, pick her from work. There are small habits, but we found that they're very important. We have a very funny, small ecosystem that revolves around the two of us, which has kept us through the various changes. But at least I can look at her and say, she's still here. Now, because she's still here, and we have not killed each other, then we can solve this problem.
Okay.
Yes. We have killed enemies, but not each other.
Amen to that. Hey. Yeah.
I don't know, your take homes.
My take home would be that intentionality, just that conversation, creating that environment. To just have those. I think that's very important because it's at the core of pretty much every growth curve that comes about. Because I even heard about you touching about things that are even beneficial, could be beneficial, actually are beneficial to the marriage and to the family, but still are a threat, to like those, a career growth, business growth, all those things, talk about pregnancy, children, family, and even the spiritual growth. So just the foundation of all those things is that conversation. And what I've also, what I've realized important is that also when Jesus, Pastor Sinap says, just speaking about the person who's delivering, creating the environment. I also realized that the person receiving also has a role to play in creating an environment as well. As Bishop, you're saying that you're being told one thing and you're like, why am I being told? That should be the first response. Should just so that environment, it's very funny because it's something we were talking about a bit before. It was very interesting, but it's just been amazing to just, but that's my key takeaway, conversation, intentionality, to go into those trenches of conversations that ordinarily as husband and wife. Would want to I've learned that as well. Father and mother.
Husband and
wife.
wife. Yeah, yeah. I think I completely agree. It's really it's what I've learned from this conversation is how easy it is to miss the smallest things very unintentionally. You don't intend to harm the marriage or harm your partner, but then you could miss something, like looking at ourselves as mother and father as opposed to husband and wife first, and that begins to change something. So keep the communication lines open, focus on the marriage first, because everything else is built around that, and really to grow together. Yeah. Some of the things that I'm also learning is that you also can't preempt every kind of growth, and knowing that in every stage you're together, you're doing it together, and you're communicating fears and creating this environment for giving and receiving feedback and timing. I think that's something else we've also learned. The environment, you could be trying to create it, but then you find your partner at the wrong time, and it's like, okay, this conversation could have waited 3 hours,
Yeah.
to not have burnt anything,
Yeah.
but then to have made a very big difference. So I think that's also something.
You can see how much we talked about
Environment
No.
environment and time together.
They go together.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's been our takeaway. So thanks a lot.
Okay, great. I think we've had a really good show.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I hope we can have you again.
Of course. Thank you for having us. We'll have a lot more experience in the bag.
That's great. So thank you everyone for joining us on Marriage Kindergarten. Leave your comments, your remarks, anything you want to share down in the comments. See you next time on Marriage Kindergarten. My name is Victor Salamba, and I'm joined here with
Victor Salamba.
and see you all next time. And this has been Marriage Kindergarten, the ABCs of making it work.